Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant. Right. Let's have a nice chilled out start to our weekend. So we're going to start on our mat stay. I'm going to stay seated just so I can let anyone in who comes in a little bit later. But we're going to start lying down this morning. So if you want to get yourself nice and comfortable, maybe bring your knees up towards your chest and have a little bit of movement before you assume a comfortable position. That might mean lying with your legs outstretched. I never like to do that, first of all. My back doesn't like it. I prefer to start with my feet on the floor, taking them a little bit wider apart, and then knocking my inner knees together. But you go ahead and do whatever works for you. If you want to have a nice stretch before you get into a comfy place there, do whatever you need to do. And when you find that position, maybe just lift your chest up, a little puff up of the chest so you can snuggle your shoulder blades a little bit further down your back. Maybe just lift your pelvis, tuck your hips under. So when you bring your lower back down onto the mat, you've created just a little bit more space. So we feel really nice and spacious and comfortable before we bug up. You might want a cushion or a pillow just around the back of your head there. If you find that your chin is thrown uncomfortably up towards the ceiling, go ahead and pop something underneath your head. And allow the arms just to rest in a comfy place. You might be down by the sides of the body, might be a hand on the lower belly or the chest. Close the eyes if you're comfortable this morning. I've had a busy old week, I don't know about you. And so I found a beautiful poem that I'd never come across before. I'd never come across the author before. And I thought it really summed up the kind of the feeling I hope to imbue in you on a Friday. So we'll start just with these lovely words and maybe just let them wash over you. And if, like me, you've had a bit of a busy week, you might find resonance within these words. Let me just let Kate in. Lovely. Come on in, Kate. We've just started lying down. Come on in, my lovely. So the poem is called Blessing in the Chaos. To all that is chaotic in you, let there come silence. Let there be a calming of the clamouring, a stilling of the voices that have laid their claim on you, that have made their home in you, that go with you even to the holy places, but will not let you rest, will not let you hear your life with wholeness, or feel the grace that fashioned you. Let what distracts you cease. Let what divides you cease. Let there come an end to what diminishes and demeans, and let depart all that keeps you in its cage. Let there be an opening into the quiet that lies beneath the chaos, where you find the peace you did not think possible, and see what shimmers within the storm. I thought that was just such a lovely way to start off our really chilled out end to the week. And so as you begin to deepen and lengthen the breath, let's see if we can let what distracts us cease. The highs and lows and the bits in between of the week you just had. Let every exhale be an opportunity just to breathe out all that is chaotic. And let this practice be an opening perhaps into that quiet that we know lies beneath, lies within us. So if you've got your hands resting on your lower belly, you can begin to encourage the breath into that lower hand. If you've got your hands just resting alongside you, just feel the breath finding its way down into the lowermost lobes and reaches of the lungs. It might take a few breaths to get there, especially if you have had a busy week. We tend to breathe in our chest area when we're a little bit busy, when perhaps our lives have become a little bit chaotic. So we can begin to find that quiet and calmness by engaging with that belly breathing. And each exhale is an opportunity to release something somewhere. It might be a knot of physical tension you've been carrying around with you this week. It might be a thought that's been niggling away, a conversation that you've had that perhaps didn't end in the way you hoped it would. Just seeing if you can let all of that go. Almost starting our practice this morning from a place of calmness and quietude and with that clean slate. And taking our usual scan of the body so we can just be aware of what we're working with this Friday. Any tight spots that might be lurking around our lower backs. Maybe you've taken advantage of this beautiful sunshine we've been having of late and you've been in the garden. Maybe you're feeling it a little bit. And just listening to the body as we begin our lovely feel good flow this morning. So let's just take one more nice deep breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, maybe just part the lips gently and let the breath just leave through the mouth. A little sigh of the breath out, letting go, letting go. Then if your knees are bent, like mine are, we'll slide one leg and then the other leg out nice and long. So we've got both legs extended out in front of us. And then very slowly we'll reach the arms up and back above the head. And if the shoulders are tight today, you can always just take them out to the side or in a nice wide V shape. And just take a moment there to do whatever movement kind of feels intuitive. You might want to start stretching one side of the body and then the other. You might want to point the toes, maybe arch the back a little bit or flex the feet and feel the lower back and the back seam of the body imprinting into the floor. A little bit of wiggling. And then we'll take a nice breath in as you reach the arms back, maybe point the toes softly. And as you exhale, just bring that right knee into your chest. That's making sure your chin hasn't suddenly shot up towards the ceiling. Keep the neck nice and long. You can hold behind the knee or around the top of the shin. Hugging that knee in, pressing down into the left heel as you just start to circle that right ankle. And the chest nice and broad, breath nice and steady. Just bring a little bit of movement into the foot. A few circles one way, and then take it around the opposite way. Might be some musical accompaniments and clicks and crunches. Lovely. And then we'll slide that right leg out and reach the arms back into our full body stretch, opening up through the body. Take an inhale. And then we'll change sides as you exhale. Bring that left knee in and down. And if you've got any knee issues, sometimes it's nice to hold behind the knee so you're not compressing the joint. But you can find your way there, holding in front or behind as you circle through that left foot there. Oh, this one always feels tighter. I don't know what I do with my left foot. So a few circles each way. Maybe keep the toes moving. Lovely. And then when you're ready, we'll extend back into that full body stretch, sliding that left leg out, reaching both arms back. Take an inhale and exhale. Bring that right knee in and down towards the chest. We're going to move with the breath now. So when you're ready to inhale back into that full body stretch, arms and legs extended. And exhale, changing sides, left knee comes in and down. So really work with the tempo of your breath. Inhaling, we come into that lovely full body stretch, expand. And exhale, contract as you squeeze one knee in towards the chest. Lovely. Inhaling to open. Exhaling, knee to chest. Now, you can stay here, keeping the head and shoulders on the floor, or you can start to lift your head and shoulders, nose coming towards the knee as you exhale. And then when you inhale, the head and shoulders come back down, reaching the arms and the legs out. So if you're doing that, we've got to work our core muscles a little bit there, bracing through the core, waking up that inner fire. Ooh, let's do one more on the right side. So don't worry if you're a little bit forwards or behind my pace. We'll all get there in the end. So we're going to end left knee coming in And then we'll all meet in that full body extension. So releasing the left leg, coming back to that full body stretch. Take your time, enjoy that space and expanse of the body. And then we'll all bring the right knee in towards the chest. We'll keep the head and shoulders on the floor this time. And slide that left heel back in towards your bottom. So the knees pointed up towards the ceiling. You might need just to rearrange your hips there. Holding on around the back of the right leg. Let's take that leg up towards the ceiling now with a flexed foot. A little softness in the knee there. Lovely. So you're pushing the heel up towards the ceiling, opening up some space in the back of the leg. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, we'll point the toe. Inhale to flex, toes pull towards your face. And then pointing the toes. Lovely. So just once more, matching that movement with your breath. Inhale. And exhale. And then we'll keep the foot flexed, pushing the heel up towards the ceiling. Then we're going to add that little movement we were doing before, but lower that right leg down and reach both arms back behind you until that right heel just hovers off the floor. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, squeeze the knee to the chest, rounding up knee to nose, nose to knee. Inhale, extend. So right leg kicks away, arms reach back, heel hovers. Exhale, rounding up. Lovely. Let's do that a couple more times. So if you want to keep the head and shoulders on the floor today, feel free. Let's do that just once more. So flexing the foot as you kick the heel away, heel just hovers, leg nice and low. And then when you bring the knee to the chest, if you're rounding up, lower the head, lower the shoulders. And once more, hold on around the back of the leg. We'll take the leg once more up towards the ceiling. Flexing the foot, you might find a little bit more space there. Option to stay there. Hands around the back of the thigh. You might bring them up a little higher towards your shin, your calf. Option to slide that left leg out. Pressing the heel down. We'll keep the leg on the floor. So you're pressing the heel down. So the leg's almost like a pair of scissors there, opening. Right leg coming towards you. Left leg stretching away. Lovely. And then very slowly bend that right knee. Bring the foot to the floor. Slide the leg away. And then bring the left knee in towards the chest. And bring that right heel back in towards you. Knee points up towards the ceiling. So let's find some space in the back of the left leg. Hands interlaced around the back of the thigh. Keep your hands quite low towards your bottom. That offers some support for tight hamstrings there. Flexing the foot, pushing the heel up towards the ceiling. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, we'll softly point the toes. Do that twice more. So going nice and slowly, not overdoing that because we tend to get cramp in the foot if we move a little bit too quickly. Lovely. So we'll keep the foot flexed and we'll move into that little moving sequence. So as you inhale, we lower the leg and reach the arms back so the heel just hovers off the floor, and exhale, give that knee another squeeze, and maybe again lift nose to knee. And then again, inhaling, head and shoulders lower as you kick the leg out, reach the arms back, spread the fingers so we're finding some space in those peripherals of the body, the arms, the legs, the feet and the hands working. Let's make this the last one. If you want to keep your head and shoulders on the floor this morning, feel free. So this time we'll bring that knee in towards the chest. If you're lifting your nose to your knee, we'll lower the head, lower the shoulders, keep the knee where it is, and extend that leg once more up towards the ceiling. And you can keep the hands nice and low, especially if your lower back or your hamstrings feel a little bit tight today, or maybe slide them up a little higher. Try and avoid the knee joint. And the shoulders stay soft, the face stays relaxed. Maybe slide that right leg away from you. We'll plant the heel into the floor, so really press into that right heel, anchoring you down, and stretch on out through that left leg. Ooh, say hello, hamstrings. Lovely. And then slowly, slowly, we'll bend that left knee, bring the foot down to the floor, and then slide that right leg back to join it. So we've got our knees and ankles together. We'll take the arms out level with the shoulders. You're making that nice letter T shape, stretching the fingertips apart. And just lift the heels so you're balanced on the balls of the feet, tips of the toes. We'll take an inhale. And as you exhale, take a little tip of the knees to the right. So you're kind of rolling across the toes. Maybe turning the head to the left. Inhale to center. And as you exhale, take a little tip of the knees over to the left. So we're not coming all the way down on the tippy toes. Inhale to center, keeping the heels lifted if that's comfortable. One more over to the right. Inhale, coming back to center. So we're trying to keep our knees and our ankles together. Lovely. So we'll come back to center, and this time we'll bring the knees over to the right, and we'll let them fall into a twist that's comfortable for you. So you can keep your knees, your ankles stacked on top of each other. You can separate them a little way, making almost like a little zigzag with the legs to ease off the pressure in the back. Or you can even scoop your knees up towards your chest if the lower back feels okay today. And maybe that right hand just gently finds the top of your left knee or thigh. Gently encouraging, never forcing. Lovely. You might have dropped your chin towards that left shoulder, but try and keep your chest more or less square to the ceiling. So we're finding that rotation through the spine. Oh, that feels nice this morning. Lovely. If, like me, you've got your hand resting on the top of that left knee or thigh, just let's bring the arms out level with the shoulders. Let's come back to center on an in-breath, bringing those heavy legs back to the center. And as you exhale, let's come over to the other side. So again, you can just stack your knees, stack your ankles, almost where they've fallen. You can separate them, so coming into a little zigzag, or scoop them up. Close the knees up towards chest. You'll find that movement, that rotation comes higher up the spine. You can always, again, left hand this time, gently encouraging that top knee down towards the floor. And maybe you turned your head. You might notice one side. I always find that one side feels a little stiffer than the other. We're all unsymmetrical beings. We're not butterflies. So it's nothing to worry about. Just makes us mindful of our movements. Maybe what we do repetitively on one side, maybe trying to bring a little bit more movement to the other side that might be stiffer. Lovely. Let's release the arms. Let's come all the way back to center. This time bringing the knees in towards the chest, hooking the ankles, widening the knees. One hand on each knee. Have a little massage around the lower back and the tops of the buttocks as you circle the knees round in one direction. And you can change the hook of your ankles as you change the direction of your knees if that feels nice. Nothing complicated this morning. We're going to find our way up to sit on our bottom. So you can roll to one side. You can hold on behind your knees, maybe roll up and down the spine a couple of times if there's space and your back lights that. Let's have a little play there. And then we'll all end up sitting on our bottoms. And we'll bring the feet to the floor. So quite a way away from my bottom there, about hip width apart. Hands come behind you. Now find a comfortable place for your fingers. So fingertips can face in towards you. I like to turn mine out ever so slightly to give my shoulders a little bit more space. So we're going to press into the hands and feel the chest begin to lift. The chin might lift a little bit, but we're not throwing the head back. Feel a lovely opening through that front seam of the body. Take a nice breath in. And as you breathe out, just allow that stretch to soften a little bit without collapsing. We're going to do that twice more. So inhale, press into the hands, lift the chest, maybe lift the chin. And as you exhale, we just soften the stretch ever so gently. Just allow the body to sink. And then once more, nice lifting of the chest as you press the floor away. Beautiful. And then exhale. So we've opened up the chest. Let's think about opening up across the upper back now, the area that's just been closed. So either you can bring your hands to cup your knees and just drop your chin to your chest and round the back. So you're leaning back a little bit, arms are straight. If you want a little bit more, try and bring your hands forwards. So just on the inside of your feet. Your knees are squeezing into your upper arms. Upper arms are pressing into your knees. Drop your chin to your chest and just see if you can almost feel that stretching of your shoulder blades from left to right. So you're either holding your knees and rounding the back, or fingers are on the floor between your feet. Elbows pressing into your knees, knees pressing into your elbows, so you're getting a little bit of resistance there. So that's a really nice stretch for the upper back. So try and breathe into that stretch now. Take one nice deep breath into that area around your upper back. And exhale, feel that contraction. Beautiful. So we're going to lift the chest. Just bring your hands onto your shins. Lean back a little bit. Slide your heels in towards you until your big toes touch. You're going to come into a little variation of boat pose. So you can stay there just lifting up through the crown of the head, or see if you can just lift the shins. You're holding onto your shins. So it's a little bit like boat pose, but the knees are wide. Hands on the inside of the legs, you're holding onto your shins. See if you can lift up through the chest. If you want to get really playful this Friday, you can extend one leg, and then the other leg. And if anyone is feeling really playful, you can extend both legs. Woohoo! Lovely. Let's bring the inner edges of the feet together. We'll bring the feet down to the floor, so the inside edges of the feet are together. Knees nice and wide as we come into our cobbler's pose. So hands on your shins or your ankles, elbows pressing against your knees. Have a little rock from side to side. So you're trying to press one knee down toward the floor. Might be a big movement, might be a small movement. Just sort of remember those weebles. Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. That's what we're trying to emulate. That's it. Lovely. So we'll come back to center when you're fed up being a weeble. Sitting up nice and tall. As you inhale, lift up through the chest. And as you exhale, see if you can gently, leading with the crown of the head and the chin, just extend the spine forward. So your elbows might be pressing into your knees. We're trying to keep a nice long back there. Now we've got the option to stay there or reach your arms forwards, fingertips coming just in front of your feet. And then we can drop the chin to the chest. And again, we might find a rounding through your back. Knees are dropping down. You might be pressing the soles of your feet gently together, gazing down just towards the soles of your feet. Lovely. And then slowly, slowly, we'll roll our way up. And keeping that right heel in towards your groin, we'll extend the left leg out on the diagonal. So if you want to sit up on a cushion or a pillow, let's make sure you're sitting right on top of your sit bones so you're not rounding the back. You're sitting up nice and tall there. Lovely. So flexing that left foot, and bring the left hand to your right knee, and the right hand comes just behind you there. So we're coming into a little twist. Try not to lift your bottom. So we're opening up some space. If your hand doesn't quite get to your knee, you can always just bring it to the top of your thigh. Maybe peeping over that right shoulder, if that feels nice today. Try to glue both sit bones down. The temptation is that we tend to lift that left sit bone. Lovely. So gently pressing down into that left hand, so that knee or thigh isn't going to lift now. Reach the right arm all the way up. And then we'll take a little side bend over towards the left. But we're keeping the body angled towards the right. So I'm looking up, maybe towards the ceiling, just underneath that right armpit there, reaching the arm across, making sure that that left knee, that right knee or thigh doesn't pop up. Lovely. Let's come all the way back through center. I'm going to bring the hands down just on either side of that left thigh. Lift your hips and just turn your chest round a little ways. So you're more or less square over that extended leg now. Right arm lifts. Let's take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, try and aim for that right hand to come to the outside edge of that left leg somewhere. It might be the outside edge of your thigh. It might be your shin. Some of you might be able to take hold of the outside edge of your left foot. So right hand is just, left hand is just alongside that left hip there. We're easing the body down. And if you want to increase that twist in the spine, just have a little peep over that left shoulder. So you're turning your head. Oh, hello. Fairy friend has come in. You can't resist. Yes. Are you going to offer some tips, Milu? Lovely. Let's slowly, slowly lift ourselves up. And then bend the right knee and just bring the sole of the foot alongside the left knee. We'll keep the foot on the inside of the leg. So left hand or left elbow gives that right knee a little squeeze. And then right arm lifts, take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's bring that right hand to the floor, just behind your right hip. But if you can feel that you're leaning back, just wrap that hand around your lower back so we're not tempted to lean our body weight back. Thank you, Milu. Thank you for your help this morning. It's always handy to have you as an extra prop. Slowly, slowly, let's bring the chest back to center. Bring the hands behind you again, finding a comfortable position for your fingers facing out to the side or straight forward. You might want to slide that right foot slightly down towards the inside of the shin or the calf. Press into your hands, lift the chest, lift the chin, and maybe lift the hips, pointing the left foot to the floor and trying to keep the front of the hips level. So you're in a version of up facing plank, but we've got a little bit of extra support there. Pushing the floor away with that right foot. Take one more inhale. And as you exhale, let's all lower the hips. Oops, nearly squashed you in. Extend both legs. Take a nice inhale as you lift the arms. And as you exhale, we'll take a lovely forward fold, bending the knees as generously as you need to, as you allow the body to melt down. Oh, Milu, your game isn't there to play with. You might want to gently shake your head from side to side, gently just releasing any tension from the neck that might have gathered there during this week. A couple of easy breaths there. Some of you might have the legs a little bit straighter, so the backs and knees almost opening up towards the floor, but don't force that. Lovely. Let's slowly, slowly roll our way back up to seated. Just square yourself up on your mat so you can see me, and we'll change sides. So this time we'll bring the left heel into the groin and the right leg slides away on the diagonal. So again, just make sure you're sitting right on top of your sit bones. So right hand this time comes across to left knee or the top of the thigh, depends on where you can reach. And we take that little twist to the left. So left hand behind you. I'm up on my tented fingertips. So I can really lift up and open through the chest. If the neck feels okay, you might look over the back shoulder or just choose to keep your head in a more neutral place. Just make sure, I just noticed there that my right foot was kind of rolling out to the right. So see if you can keep the toes pointed up towards the ceiling. Lovely. So pressing down a little bit more firmly with that right hand, left arm lifts, take an inhale. And as you exhale, take that little side bend. So you're reaching the left arm over the head. You're keeping the body twisted towards the left. Oh, lovely. Let's come all the way back through center. This is when we have to do that little movement. So bring the hands down, just so you can turn your body towards that extended leg. So this time it's the left arm that lifts up as you inhale. And as you exhale, that left hand comes to the outside of the right leg. So we're trying to square the body up over that extended leg. Some of you might have the back of the hand just on the outside of your thigh. Some of you might find the shin. Some of you might take hold of the outside of the foot. Right hand just beside your right hip. You might want to have a little look over that right shoulder. So you're just bringing that movement a little higher up the spine. Or you can keep the gaze down towards your knee if that's more comfortable on your neck this morning. Lovely. And slowly, slowly we'll roll our way up to seated. We'll bring the sole of that left foot to the floor, just on the inside of the right leg, so just by the knee. Hands come, oh no, we've got to do a little twist, haven't we? So slide that heel in towards you, I was getting carried away there. So right elbow or right hand gives that knee a little squeeze. Sitting up nice and tall, take an inhale as you circle the left arm all the way up and back behind you. Fingertips either finding the floor, or if you're leaning back, wrap the hand around your lower back. So you've really got to work those deep postural muscles of the spine to keep you upright. It's quite a good exercise. If you always have the hand on the floor, sometimes just by bringing the hand around to the low back, you realise you've got to use those muscles to keep yourself nice and upright there. Lovely. Slowly unraveling. Now we can come to that one. So the hands come down behind you. You might want to bring that left foot a little further down towards the right shin or calf. Pressing into the hands, lift the chin, lift the chest. Option to press into the left foot and lift the hips. So just make sure that your hips aren't wibbly wobbly there. We're not throwing the head back, so the chin is tucked in. We're gazing straight up towards the ceiling, pointing the right toes towards the floor. Lovely. Take one more inhale. And as you exhale, slowly, slowly lower the hips. Extend the legs. Sit up nice and tall. As you inhale, sweep the arms up. Maybe flex the feet a little bit now. And as you exhale, revisit that forward fold. So down, 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 bending the knees as generously as you need to so the body can just surrender there. Again, you can shake the head side to side, you can give a little nod, just let the weight of the head just bring a little bit of space to those muscles in the back of the neck that work so hard to keep that heavy weight of the head up. Very tight. Lovely. And then slowly, slowly we'll roll our way up. We'll tuck the feet to one side and just find your way onto all fours. Bringing your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. Hands can be wider apart if you need a little bit more space this morning. Let's spread the hands nice and wide. And we'll start just by shifting the weight forward. So you've got about 60% of your body weight over your arms now. And just start to do a little circle. So we shift the weight forward, shifting the weight into the hands. And then as you shift the weight back, you feel a little release. So keeping the hands pressing firmly down, particularly into the knuckle pads and into the almost bit where the wrist meets your hand there, so we're not lifting the palm up. Take that circle around the opposite way, so we're really building up a little bit of strength. Lovely one to increase our flexibility in our hands, so it helps us with our downward dogs and positions like that. Lovely. And then let's come back to that lovely tabletops. Your wrists, elbows and shoulders are in alignment. We're pressing into the hands. Drop the belly, lift the tailbone. Take a nice breath in as you open up through the chest. And as you exhale around the back, see if you can keep your shoulders above your wrists. Sometimes the temptation is to slightly shift the weight back. Really closing the eyes now as you just find that movement, that delicious movement up and down the spine. Inhaling, a little arching, and then exhaling. We're stretching the space between the shoulder blades, sending them left to right. Just notice if you're managing to keep the neck nice and long, we're not throwing the head back. So the chin stays more or less parallel to the floor as you inhale. Lovely. Let's do just a couple more of those. A lovely one for the spine. Inhaling. And exhaling. Lovely. And then we'll find that nice tabletop position. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, we'll slide the hips back towards your heels, coming into a child pose, and walk the arms forwards. So forehead might meet the floor. You might want to keep your elbows, your forearms on the floor, or lift up onto your finger pads, pressing the fingertips forwards and down. See if you can get a little bit more energy through the arms there, that sensation of hugging your hips back towards your heels. Lovely. Again, breathing into the side of the body, feel that lovely expansion and contraction, the play of breath in the back seam of the body there. Lovely. And then flattening the hands, we're going to find our way back onto all fours. Now, if this next one isn't for you, you can repeat that lovely child pose. But just have a little look down and drop your elbows down to where your hands were on the mat, more or less. So your palms are down, your forearms are parallel, your elbows are behind your wrists. And then just walk your knees back. And then keeping your bottom high, just allow your forehead to drop down towards the earth. So a little version of puppy pose. If that doesn't work for your shoulders, then feel free to come back into that child pose with your bottom down on your heels. So if you're with me in that puppy pose, we've got the forearms parallel, the hips are pulling back. It's like a softer variation of puppy pose there, lovely. So wherever you are, I'm just going to lift the chin, lift the chest, look forward. And just see if you can slowly lift yourself up and then all the way down onto your belly. Sliding the elbows slightly forwards now so we find a Sphinx pose. Elbows underneath your shoulders. Once more, keeping the forearms as though they were on train tracks, parallel. Press into your palms, press into your forearms. Imagine the elbows are just pulling gently back towards your outer ribs. Press into the tops of the feet. So there's a little bit of energy through the legs there. And then keeping all of that, so that downward pressure through the forearms, that little backward pull of the elbows, drop your chin towards your chest. So we're not falling into our shoulders, we're not collapsing there. Lovely. You might just want to shake your head very gently from side to side. Lovely. And then lifting the head, chin is parallel to the floor, take an inhale. And as you exhale, look over your right shoulder and try and press into that left elbow a little bit more firmly. Inhale through center. Exhaling, changing sides, look to the left, press into that right elbow. One more each way. Inhale through center. Exhale, look to the right. Press into left elbow. Notice if you're dropping your chin, can you keep your chin more or less parallel to the floor? As we look to the left, press into the right elbow. We'll come back to center. Tuck your toes under. Interlace your hands. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, can you push up to forearm plank? Woo! Weren't expecting that, were you? Keep the gaze down towards your hands. You can always bring your knees down and hug navel to spine. If you're with me in that forearm plank, gazing just down towards your hands, heels pressed as though into a wall behind you. See if we can hold for 5. Or press into your elbows. 4, 3, 2, and 1. We'll all drop down onto the knees. Walking your knees back underneath your hips, knees are together. We'll walk the hands back towards your knees until we're sitting on our heels in hero pose. And if that doesn't work for your knees, you can always pop a cushion between your bottom and your heels, or just come to cross-legged or stretch the legs out in front of you. So just sitting up nice and tall, hands just resting on the tops of the thighs. You've got a nice open chest there. Now we've got the option to stay there, or if you want a lovely stretch for the feet, one of my favorites, but it is a bit of a Marmite pose. You just bring yourself forward so you can tuck the toes under and then resume that sitting on your heels. Ooh, you might want to untuck your little toes so they get a lovely stretch too. If you want to just increase that, you just shift the body weight ever so slightly back. See if you can hold there just for a few seconds. It's excruciating for some people, but really good to stretch out the feet that gets super tight sometimes. Lovely. Very slowly, just bring your hands down so you can flatten the feet, maybe give them a little flap on the floor. And then keeping the toes flat, the knees a little wider, so maybe about hip width apart as we find our way up into standing kneeling. And if standing kneeling doesn't work for you today, then feel free to stay seated. It's no problem at all. I'm going to take the arms out to the side. Lovely. And then wrapping right arm under left arm. I'm going to come into eagle arms. So full eagle arms, we do that double wrap. So left arm is on top. If that's not for you, just bring your hands onto your shoulders. Lovely. So if you're in that full eagle arms, we've got the elbows lifted, the shoulders soft. As you inhale, let's see if we can take the elbows a little higher. And as you exhale, can you draw your navel to your spine, feel that contraction of the belly. So as you inhale, the belly expands. We try and lift the elbows, maybe just a fraction higher. And as you exhale, hug navel to spine, feel that contraction. Lovely. Just once more, inhale. And exhale, contract the belly. Beautiful. Release the arms. Take a deep breath in as you sweep both arms up, release the shoulders. And as you exhale, hands come behind you, finding the tops of your bottom, the lower back with the palms of the hands. So you can roll the shoulders down the back, squeezing the elbows gently to the wall behind you. Feel that lovely lengthening through the front body. You can lift your chin and squeeze the bottom there. Beautiful. And then slowly, slowly release. Bring both arms out in front of you. Interlace the hands. And then like a little steeple, release your index finger. Lovely. We'll take an inhale. And as you exhale, take a little lean back of the body. So moving in one unit. Heart stays head above heart, heart above hips. Lovely. And come forwards. So a little lean back. And inhale. Come back to center just once more. Exhale, so we're hugging over spine. Little one to open up through the quads. Come all the way back. Reach the arms out to the side. And then this time we'll change arms. So we've got left arm underneath, right arm on top this time. So again, you can just bring your hands onto your shoulders, or you can come into that eagle arms. Lovely. So we're trying to take the forearms away from your face, keep the shoulders soft. And then as you inhale, maybe a little lift of the elbows. And then as you exhale, feel the belly contract. Inhale, belly expands. Elbows might lift a little higher, shoulders stay down away from the ears. And as you exhale, hug navel to spine. Just once more, inhale. And exhale, lovely. Slowly, slowly release. We'll sweep the arms up towards the ceiling. And as you bring the hands behind you this time, you can rest the hands on the lower back. And that little roll of the shoulders opening through the chest if you want. Interlace the hands, tug the knuckles down toward the floor. And if shoulders feel okay, you might even lift the arms away from you. Lovely. Beautiful. So wherever you are, slowly, slowly release the arms. Let the arms hang alongside you as you lower the hips to the heels. And this time as you come into a child pose, keep the arms alongside you, palms up towards the ceiling, turning the head to one side, and allow the shoulders to inwardly rotate. So shoulders relax, falling down towards the floor. And just releasing after that. Stretch across the shoulders. Let's turn the head the opposite way. If you had the temple to the floor, just turn the head the opposite way. Lovely. And then slowly, slowly, sitting back on your heels, bring the hands out in front of you, finding your way back onto all fours. You're going to walk the hands over to, let me come on to face you. You're going to walk the hands over to the right side of your mat. Take an inhale as you lift the heart. And as you exhale, round the back and send your hips down towards your heels. So inhaling, drawing the body forward. So you're like a little asymmetric cat-cow. Exhale as you round, hugging left hip towards left heel. We'll do that just once more. Inhale, so the hands are over to the right side of the mat. And the next time you come back into that little child pose, hugging left hip down towards left heel, reaching the arms out. So you've got that little kind of asymmetric stretch there. Lovely. And then we'll bring ourselves back up, keep the hands where they are. And then we'll step that left foot forwards to the top of your mat. So you've got the left foot forwards, top of your mat. And we'll just spin that right shin behind you. So left foot facing forwards, right shin behind you. Now that left hand is either going to come to the inside of your left foot, or if that's a little bit too much, rest elbow on your thigh there. Now reach that right arm all the way up towards the ceiling. So if, like me, you've got that left hand on the floor, I'm squeezing my knee into my upper arm and my upper arm against my knee. There's a little bit of resistance. You can work from here, still encouraging that knee to roll open towards the little toe edge of that left foot. Nice open chest. Breathe there. Lovely. Now, wherever you are with that left hand, let's come all the way up so the arms are out level with the shoulders. Press that left knee open, take an inhale. And as you exhale, left arm extends up and right arm reaches back down. So almost in a little reverse warrior. That inside knee wants to roll inward. Keep pressing it out towards the little toe. Lovely. Let's come all the way back up. And we're going to slide that left leg out to the side, ready for gate pose. So hips are square to the front of the mat. Push the hips forwards, take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's come over to the left. Right arm comes up and over. Lovely. Inhale through center. Push the hips up to the left. And we'll change sides. So right arm just reaching down toward the floor. Left arm alongside the ear. Lovely. Inhale through center. Let's do that once more. Exhale as you bring that right arm all the way up and over. Inhale through center. And this time as you exhale, you can either just reach that right hand down toward the floor. Some of you might find the floor and come into, lovely, that side plank. So you're reaching that left arm alongside the ear and maybe lift that left leg, flexing the foot. Lovely. Let's push the floor away, come all the way back up through center. Now a little bit here, you're going to turn the chest to the left. Pivot on that right knee So you're flicking that right foot behind you. Turn the left toes up towards the ceiling, take an inhale. And as you exhale, allow the body to yield forward, so we're in a hamstring stretch, little half monkey pose. Lovely. See if you can stretch into the hamstring. Beautiful. Slowly, slowly, let's roll that left foot to the floor and just slide it back so you've got both knees underneath the hips, hands under the shoulders. Lovely. So this time we're going to walk your hands over to the left side of your mat. Take an inhale as you draw your heart forwards and arch the back. And as you exhale, come into that child pose, bringing your right hip towards your right heel. Inhale as you draw the body forwards and up back onto all fours, that little asymmetric cat-cow. Exhale, so you're really sitting down towards that right heel. Nice lateral stretch into that right side of the body. Just once more, inhale, heart comes forwards. And just pause in that nice little C shape that you've created. Right hip towards right heel. So you made that nice C shape with the body. Lovely. And then keeping the hands where they are, we'll come all the way back up with the chest. So you can step now your right foot forwards, just bringing it to the middle of your mat. And the right hand comes to the inside of that right foot. Or again, you can rest your elbow on the top of the thigh. And then we'll take the left arm all the way up towards the ceiling. So you're squeezing the upper arm against your knee, knee against your upper arm, almost like there's a little bit of resistance between the two. You can always be here. That's no problem at all. Just encouraging that right knee to squeeze out towards the little toe. Lovely. Oh, sorry, you can have a little spin on that back knee there. So you can always flick that left shin behind you. Lovely, a little bit of extra stability. Beautiful. Let's come all the way back up. So that left shin is just flicked behind you. Sorry, guys. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's reach that right arm all the way up and over. Just making sure that that right knee doesn't roll inward. So keep squeezing it out to the side. Lovely. Let's come all the way back through center. And this time we slide the right leg out. So you're turning the toes forwards, pressing the hips forwards, take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's come over to the right. So the left arm comes up and over. Make sure your hips don't start to drop back. Inhale through center. And as you exhale, we bring the right arm up and over. So you bump your hips a little bit over to the right for stability. Inhale, hips to center, arms out. Exhale, we'll come over to the right. Lovely. Inhale through center. And this time you can either, as you push your hips a little bit over to the right for stability, you can just reach the left fingertips towards the floor. Some of you might find the floor, reaching that right arm alongside your ear and maybe lifting that top leg, pushing the heel away from you. Woo, lovely. Lovely. A little bit of momentum to come all the way back up. Beautiful. And then we're going to turn over that right leg. So you just bring the left shin back onto your mat. Lovely. Toes of that right foot are extended. You can always bend the knee, that front knee. We'll take an inhale. And as you exhale, just allow the chest to melt down over that right leg. Lovely for our hamstring stretch. Lovely. And slowly, slowly, let's bend that right knee. Slide the knee back underneath the hip. So hands under shoulders, knees underneath your hips. It's going to bump your hips to the right and look over your right shoulder. So you're getting a little stretch into the left. Come all the way back through center, bump your hips to the left and look over left shoulder. One more each way. Inhale to center. Exhale as you push the hips to the right. Look over right shoulder. Inhale to center. Exhale as you look over left. Lovely. Come all the way back through center. Cross the ankles. And if you can, roll over your feet and extend both legs out in front of you. If that doesn't work for you, just find a way to extend both legs out in front of you. Lovely. Reaching the arms out. Lovely. Palms facing inwards. Drop the chin down towards your chest. And slowly, with great care, as though you're placing each vertebrae on the floor, one by one, lower yourself down onto your back. And when head and shoulders reach the floor, reach both arms back behind you. Oh, I need to wiggle myself down the mat a little bit. So we're back in that lovely full body stretch, just where we began. Lovely. Again, you might want to have a little slide of one hip from side to side, reaching into one side of the body and then the other, having a wriggle through the hips. Beautiful. And then slowly, slowly bringing the arms out level with the shoulders. Or walk the heels back in towards you and take them out nice and wide towards the outer edges of your mat. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's drop both knees over to the right. Nice wide knee twist there. If your knees feel a little uncomfortable, try flexing your feet. Rolling chin down towards left shoulder, reaching the arms out nice and wide. Just trying to relax the buttocks. You've got the option, if you wish, to pick up your right foot and place it on top of your left knee or thigh there. And then try and relax that right knee down toward the floor. You don't want that right knee popping up towards the ceiling. Try and relax both legs there. So if you've got the added weight of that right leg, you might feel an increased pulling sensation. If that's too much, then just bring the right foot to the floor. Lovely. If you've got your right foot resting on your left knee or just the top of the thigh there, slowly, slowly unhook the foot. Bring the foot back down. So again, the feet a little wider apart there. We'll roll back through center. And then taking the knees over to the left, flexing the feet, keeping the knees nice and safe, trying to relax that left buttock in particular, making sure the chest is flush to the ceiling there. Chin might have dropped down towards right shoulder there. Easy with the breath. When the body's settled, you might find at this side, you don't want to and you don't need that added weight, but if it feels good, you can pick up left foot this time. Just place it on top of your right knee, or just the top of the thigh there. Allow that knee just to drop down toward the floor. So you're getting a very gentle stretch along the outside seam of that right leg into the hip. Maybe you're feeling it a little bit into your lower back. Let's try and soften there. Relaxing that left knee. Lovely. And if you've got your left foot on your right knee, slowly, slowly bring that knee to the floor so you can bring the knees back up to center. We'll walk the feet in towards your sit bones now. Feet and knees hip width apart. Arms come down just alongside you with the palms down towards the floor, reaching fingertips towards heels. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, press into your feet as you ripple the spine up, pushing the hips up into a gentle shoulder bridge to finish. Lovely. Take an inhale when you found the height of the hips that suits you. And as you exhale, again with care and control, lower yourself down. Trying to find some space between each vertebra as you do so. Let's do that twice more. Take an inhale, hips on the floor. As you exhale, try and press into the big toe edge of each foot. Just making sure those knees stay parallel. Taking an inhale at whatever height you've reached. And as you exhale, let's slowly bring the hips down. You need to rest. If you've had enough, have a rest, or one more. Take an inhale. And this time as you exhale, we're going to hold at the top. So wherever you've reached, it might be a little low bridge today. Some of you might have lifted the hips a little higher. You might even need to pick up your head and slide it towards the top of your mat. And some of you who are feeling open in the shoulders, lifted in the chest, might even be able to walk the shoulder blades towards one another, interlacing the hands beneath you, finding perhaps even more height through the hips and the lift of the chest. Keep pressing into the big toes, keep squeezing the bottom, those knees facing forwards and parallel. Lovely. Let's see if we can just hold there just for 2 more breaths. If you've had enough, feel free to come down. Lovely. And then when you're ready, bringing the hands out alongside you if you haven't interlaced. If you wish to lift your heels, feel free and keep them lifted as you ripple your way all the way down to the floor. Lovely. If you need to give your knees a squeeze, feel free. And then when you're ready, you can either extend the legs out in front of you, have a little roll through the ankles, and then allow the toes to roll out, the heels in. Settling the arms again into whatever position is comfortable for you, keeping the knees bent if that's more comfortable. Just finishing. If you need to whiz off, thank you for coming this morning. Enjoy the weekend, and I've got a pop-up class tomorrow at 9 o'clock if anyone is interested. If you've got a moment, just to end with a bit of quietness and calmness. Make yourself nice and warm and comfortable. Closing the eyes, allow the body just to digest, assimilate the effects of that gentle stretch this morning. And let's remind ourselves of those beautiful words that we began with. To all that is chaotic in you, let there come silence. Let there be a calming of the clamouring, a stilling of the voices that have laid their claim on you, that have made their home in you, that go with you even to the holy places, but will not let you rest, will not let you hear your life with wholeness, or feel the grace that fashioned you. Let what distracts you cease. Let what divides you cease. Let there come an end to what diminishes and demeans, and let depart all that keeps you in its cage. Let there be an opening into the quiet that lies beneath the chaos, where you find the peace you did not think possible, and see what shimmers within that storm. So as you once more just absorb yourself in the pace and rhythm of your breath. And when thoughts, distractions come, as they do, just see if you can breathe them away with each exhale, coming back. And it is a discipline, it is a practice. Again and again, coming back to your breath. As you do so momentarily, you might catch a glimpse, linger a moment in that quiet that lies beneath the chaos, that calm, that peace that lies within us. A place where there is a calming of the clamouring. Just taking a few more breaths there, absorbing yourself once more, just in every inhale and every exhale. And knowing you could stay there, finishing the class just when you see fit, or if you're ready to rejoin the rest of the world. Face your Friday, hopefully feeling a little bit more stretched, a little bit more centered. Just start to deepen the breath now. Letting the inhale revitalise, re-energise you. Maybe beginning to bring some gentle movement, might be a little roll across the back of the head, wiggling of fingers and toes. And you might even want to revisit that full body stretch if that seems nice. The arms reach back, the legs extend. You might even want to just have a little movement, slide of the hips side to side, up and down. Oh, lovely. And then we'll all meet, just bringing the knees in towards your chest, giving them a little hug one last time. You might want to circle the knees or have a rock side to side, just massaging away any lingering tension around the lower back. Before you roll yourself calmly and quietly to lie on one side, before finding your way back up to a comfortable seated position. It never has to be cross-legged. Somewhere you can just find that nice sense of balance across your sit bones. Head above heart, heart above hips. Openness and lift through the chest. We'll just bring the hands into Anjali Mudra, the thumbs just nestled into your breastbone. Allow your chin to drop down towards your chest, opening up through the back of the neck. Just thanking one another for sharing a practice this morning. And from me to you, namaste. Thank you. Thank you for starting your Friday morning with me. Thank you. Go and enjoy the rest of this blustery but sunny day.
Thank you. There we are.
You